Good evening and welcome to the program. This is the Limelight and my name is Prince Apollo. Now, this week Parliament granted leave of House to Mityana South Member of Parliament, Honorable Richard Rumu, to introduce a private members bill, which among other things seeks to revise the selection of the leader of opposition in Parliament as well as the opposition chief whip. Now, as it stands, the selection of the leader of opposition is solely done by the party with the largest numerical strength in Parliament on the side of the opposition. But this time, once this bill comes to Parliament and possibly turns into law, the provisions will grant powers to the members of Parliament to elect the leader of opposition. And this is one thing that has attracted criticism and controversies, and that is why we need to speak with Mr. Dr. Siraje Nsanja. And Siraje Nsanja is a political analyst, but also he is a lecturer of political science at Kampala University. Siraje, welcome to the program. Let's quickly hear from you. What came to your mind when this news of a proposal that will empower members to elect their leader of opposition the news came out?
Good evening, our viewers. When you look at the current proposal that let all other political parties on the opposition take a part in the election of the L.O.P, the leader of opposition in Parliament, it is not a welcome move. It is going to undermine political competition within the political opposition. Before, or as it stands, political parties are competing to raise the numbers such that they take up that L.O.P position. Oh. So if you say that all other political parties will participate in the election of the L.O.P, you will stifle competition in the political parties, you will equate weak political parties to stronger political parties, which invest resources, time and other things to say that they raise the numbers. So me, with one political seat, I will also feel that I am now elevated to be at the same pace with those others who have their numbers. So it is not a welcome move. It is going to undermine political competition within the opposition, and above all, it will create controversies within the opposition. Now, what will be the criteria and what will be the basis? Political parties with how many members of Parliament? Some political parties have already concluded memorandum of understanding with the ruling political parties. And they have agreed that wherever there is something, they will vote on the side of the government. Then what about those ones? So it will create a number of controversies. And it is, as a growing democracy, it is not a welcome take.
As a political scientist, what do you think is the motivation behind the movers of this proposed law, proposed bill? What could be playing behind the scenes?
Then we have to look at two aspects. Who are the movers of this political bill? Is it coming from the inner circles of the executive? Is it influenced by external agents? So we have to understand over the two who is working for who. So after getting or identifying who is working for who, we have to look at what is the motive of government. Do they want to undermine political competition within the opposition, or they want to uproot some elements within the opposition? So we have to factor in a number of considerations, but prime among those ones, the NRM government might be pushing to say that they undermine the strength of the traditional political parties within the opposition, and they want newcomers to get on board. And in order to get the newcomers on board, you have to remove what might appear to be legally over emphasizing the importance of numbers against those who would have we will have a few numbers. So if you do that one, how do you do it? You come up with a legislation, which legislation will level the ground within the opposition. Maybe that is what is the consideration of the movers of that bill.
Let's talk about the timing. It comes at a time when the leader of opposition is also on the spot for boycotting the regional parliamentary sittings. There's a lot of criticism from within the opposition ranks. What do you read from this? That is it in any way connected to these sentiments around the leader of opposition, the current leader of opposition, Joyce Senyonyi? What do you think, or what do you see?
Since the new leader of opposition took off office, he has been embroiled in a number of controversies. First, he did not receive welcome acceptance from the political opposition itself. A number of them, we had dissenting voices from the opposition itself. Then when you look at the so far, not the so good, he has failed to unite the legislators in the opposition. So it is like he's moving, but he's like a lone player within the game. So within that, such circumstances, some people want to go behind to say that, how can we trim this person? The next L.O.P, we want him trimmed. We don't want him to exercise those powers. So government, whoever, as of now we can't say that government, whoever is pushing it is looking at that reality of trying to contain and control the powers of the next L.O.P.
Looking at the movers of this proposed bill themselves, members of N.O.P, because the seconder is a member of the N.O.P, and the mover is the member of the Democratic Party. Isn't it now opposition eating itself from within?
The opposition eating it itself. That one could be on one side, but the other side, it could be that these elements, they are just pushing interests of other players, maybe within the ruling NRM. But beside that accusation, beside that what might appear to be as an accusation, you find that even members of the opposition themselves, they are not contented with the way how the L.O.P has been handling matters for the opposition, and the relationship between the opposition and the government, and the relationship within the opposition, that is uniting all the opposition political players. The current L.O.P has failed to achieve on that front. So maybe some voices might come up to say that we must push this one. Whether it will get through or it will not see the sunshine of the day, they want to say that something is being done to contain the powers of the leader of opposition in parliament.
Now, besides all these suspicions that possibly these people are being used by external forces, don't you see something good out of this? Because in democracy, participation is a key principle, is a key element of democracy. Don't you find it really a good principle, a good element, if members of the opposition are given a chance to elect their own leader of opposition?
Well, if you say that you allow or you let all opposition parties to participate in the election of the leader of opposition, it has controversies. Controversy number one, we have those political parties just with one MP. Then we have those political parties just with two. How are you going to determine that this political party will participate and this political party will not participate? What would be the criteria for just qualifying a political party to participate? We have seen those controversies. As of now, they have been not resolved whenever it comes to the election of the IALA members. So we want to push that controversy within the election of the L.O.P. So we need to do a number of harmonizations within the various acts before that one is pushed. So if we push it in the current state of affairs, it is likely to create more controversies and legal battles, which are not healthy in the current state of affairs.
Now, one of the provisions, one of the proposals in this draft bill is that once the leader of opposition is elected, he or she should cease to be a member of a political party. Possibly they are trying to create to make that office more neutral. How do you see that? Would that work?
That one doesn't work, and it is not called for. We are in a multi-party political dispensation where election to parliament is on the basis of political identity. So in such circumstances, in that environment, in that arrangement, people represent political party interests, people represent constituents. So if you say that somebody becoming a L.O.P and he ceases to be a member of a given political party, you are not doing justice to the electorate. What about the electorate? Where is the electorate in this whole equation? We have to factor in the electorate that in the first place, there are some electorates out there who belong to that particular political party, who wanted their political party to push it through. Now the political party has pushed it through, and then you are saying that the given member is losing identity of that one. No, that one doesn't work. Democracies don't work like that. Democracies work with identities. So people push it through to say that, by the way, that is the main drive that makes political parties to work hard, looking for that political occupation.
Now that the Speaker of Parliament has expressed approval of these proposals, and even the Attorney General also expressed no objection over this move to bring such a bill, what do you envisage? What do you see? What is coming?
Whether it gets through or not, it will get legal challenges within the Constitutional Court on the following grounds. Number one, when you look at the build-up that gets to Parliament, that gets us to get the L.O.P, you find that political parties have to make a number of sacrifices and concessions. In doing so, they are doing that within the mandate of the law. That is getting the caucus, getting the numbers. These people in the first place, they participated in the party primaries, then they went through in the general election, and now they are there in Parliament. So if they veer through all of that, and when they get to Parliament, then the law negates all what they have done. Then that one will create automatic legal controversies. Then the second, as a younger democracy, which is building up, we need competition. One of the things that stir up competition is to occupy political offices. Then if you say that at the end of the day, it will lose the inherent significance that is attached to that office. So we want it to be we want the status quo to be maintained, because if we tamper with the current status quo, we are likely to injure the growth and competition of our younger democracy, especially in the multi-party dispensation.
So you said, even if it comes to Parliament and possibly is passed as an act of Parliament, it can be challenged in courts of law. It will
seriously be challenged in courts of law. And before it is challenged in courts of law, does it make sense within the growth of our democracy? Those are the two considerations we have to look into.
Okay. Finally, let's look at another proposal, because we heard from the mover, Honorable Richard Lumu, saying that he is even going to amend this particular these proposals to include the office of the Commission of Parliament. That it should also be subjected to elections. Members of Parliament should elect the members of the Parliamentary Commission, that body that oversees the welfare of members of Parliament. You know what the Commission does. How do you find that?
Again, the move of the bill is contradicting himself. In the first place, we have the Administration of Parliamentary Act. The Administration of Parliamentary Act puts in place the criteria of getting the commissioners of Parliament. So before you amend that one, you cannot come up with another legislation. It will create automatic outright contradiction, because the other one is an existing law, and it has not so far been challenged in a constitutional court, or it has not been outlawed. So you have it in place. How can you say that now you are going to propose in another one before you amend the other?
He's going to amend these proposals to also include, because in the proposals he shared, one of the commissioners is not there. So he says he's going to amend it and include even a clause, a provision, to also have the commissioners elected?
For that one, he would have called for an amendment within the Administration of Parliamentary Act first, to include that one, to cater for that one. Because the commissioners of parliament were clearly catered for in the Administration of Parliamentary Act, creating that office and indicating who will belong to the commission, who will be who are the commissioners of parliament, and how are they obtained, how do they get there. That one is already settled. So if he feels that something is not well or it is not okay with the current structure and formation of the commissioners of parliament, he will just call for an amendment within the Administration of Parliamentary Act. But before we get there, we have to look at democracy, and we have to look at the feeders of democracy, and we have to look at the promoters of democracy. Is he working in the interest of democracy, or is working for just short-term political ventures to achieve short-term goals just for that? We have to factor in the aspect that we are a younger democracy. We have to look forward, and we have to factor in aspects that will promote and develop our democracy.
Finally, this is not one controversial proposal. There have been other controversial proposals that have been introduced, and some of them actually passed as laws in Parliament, including the age limit, debate, and all that happened. Now, looking at these incidents coming up, and you say members of Parliament even pursuing short-term their short-term interests. What do you now make of the whole democratic fiber and politique of this country?
Putting it in a bigger democratic framework of our society, we have challenges within the opposition, and we have challenges within the ruling government too. We have not ironed out issues to do with how do some people get into these offices, and how do some people lose these offices. For instance, when you look at the other lacuna within our law, whereby a political party wanted to get back one of its own as its representative, as a parliamentary commissioner, such lacuna, such things need to be gapings, need to be a little bit ironed out in order to create harmony, in order to have our democracy fully functioning well. Before we do those things, we don't need much of the legislation in the current status quo of our parliamentary workings, apart from downsizing on the numbers. But calling for the political parties to participate in the election of the L.O.P, that one, in the meantime, it is not a welcome take.
Finally, from you, what could be the recommendations you can offer to make the opposition more strong and vibrant? What could be done now at this point in time?
At this point in time, we could just come up with measures to say that once political party members are elected into these offices, political parties have control over them. What we have seen in the past, it has dented our democracy. You find that these political party members at some points they act independently.
Some of them are more powerful than political parties.
Some individual personalities are more powerful than political parties, and normally they have tendencies of disregarding political party positions when it comes to certain matters in the House. So until and when such a thing is a little bit clearly put, that a political party member of Parliament who goes against his political party position is likely to suffer these consequences, until when we are likely to have more political party members in Parliament acting independently or ultra-vires against their own political parties.
Thank you so much. And he is Dr. Siraj Nsanja. Siraj Nsanja is a political analyst, but also a lecturer of political science at Kampala University, one of the leading private universities in Uganda. My name is Prince Apollo. Let's wait to see whether these proposals will find way to Parliament and will be given green light in Parliament, and possibly will be coming back to dissect the same matter and look at how best we can understand these and other issues. Thank you so much, Slaje, for your time and deliberations.
Thank you, brother. Nice evening.
Thank you so much, our viewers. That is the Limelight this evening. Let's catch up again next Friday in another edition of the Limelight. My name is Prince Apollo. God bless you and God bless Uganda.